Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of FabACab's Ask Z. This week we're going to be giving out some quick tips to new reps in the field, but also some of those who have a lot of experience but are looking for a refresher course in things to look out for when you're doing a FabACab survey. To help us brush up on some of that knowledge today, we have FabACab's senior sales rep and co-founder, Bobby Haskett. Hey Bobby, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Z. I look forward to sharing some great tips with you and our viewers.
Delightful. Now, I know you asked us to meet you here in FabACab's mock cab. Any particular reason why?
Yeah, because I'm a visual learner myself, and I think with being inside the cab, it might help our viewers as well being visual learners.
Yeah, I am very much a visual learner, so I appreciate that, and I am excited for it. So let's get right down into it. What is your first quick tip?
First quick tip is, as soon as you come into the elevator that you're looking at, you want to just take a few seconds, look around, see if there's anything funky that jumps right out at you.
And what might some of those funky things be?
Great question, Z. First of all, something as simple as your base that actually protrudes out past your cab shell, a cove, your inside of your transom could very well protrude out as well, up to 2 inches I've seen it. And you want to make sure if you're replacing the ceiling, check for a doghouse.
Okay, there's a lot of things to kind of check out as we first get into the cab. So I'm going to ask my first question right off the bat. What is a cove?
Great question, Z. A cove could be many different things. What we're really looking for on that is any kind of an obstruction that from the actual base all the way to the top of your canopy to see if anything is sticking out. A lot of times a cove could have a light recessed in it, but it could also be something as simple that sticks out only a ½ inch, but it does make a break in the wall itself.
Okay, I think most of that made sense. There was one word in there I didn't quite understand though. Canopy. What is a canopy?
Great question, Z. A lot of our customers seem to have a problem, whether you are new or a veteran, at distinguishing canopy and your ceiling face.
Oh, so it's not my ceiling.
No, it is not. What it is, your canopy is, think of it as the cap for your cab shell. So it's going to be above your ceiling face here. So when you're measuring the height, you want to make sure that you're not just going to the ceiling face. You go all the way up to the top of your cab, or the canopy as they call it.
So on the FabACab surveys, when it asks for the measurement from the floor to the canopy, I'm not doing to the ceiling, I'm going all the way up.
You're exactly right, Z.
So answer me this, is it actually that important to know the difference between a ceiling face and the canopy when I'm doing my FabACab survey?
Absolutely, it is imperative that you give us the canopy height. Our particular system is made to go 2 inches above your ceiling to give a nice, seamless, clean look. If we don't get those measurements, we want to make sure that our system is being delivered and installed exactly the way we designed it to be.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay. Now then my next question, I know you mentioned this more towards the beginning, other than a place that some husbands go, what is a doghouse?
Yeah, none of us like being in a doghouse, Z, that's for sure. A doghouse is typically utilized in a freight elevator. And what it is, it about halfway through your canopy, which once again is the cap of your shell. What it is it usually rises up about 24 to 36 inches, and that allows people to be able to move furniture, large construction equipment, and so forth throughout the building.
Gotcha. I have seen that in quite a few freight elevators where there's people, maybe construction workers bringing in ladders or a couch or something like that.
Yes.
So if there is a doghouse, is it important for you to know that?
Very much, and we're also going to need to know, is the client going to retain and want to continue to use the doghouse? If not, we need to know one way or another so we can design the ceiling to fit their particular need.
I gotcha. Okay, I like that because then you're really making something more custom to what their needs are.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have seen that in a lot of freight elevators. Maybe if there's construction going on, I've seen people put ladders up there or couches when people are moving. So for that, I definitely need to be taking more measurements and giving you those measurements on the FabACab surveys, right?
Absolutely. Just always remember, the more measurements and the more detailed information you can give us, the more we can assure the project is going to go very smoothly for not only you, but for your client as well.
What's the phrase? We're only as good as the information we're given. Is that
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely.
Right. All right. Okay, and then my next question, I think one of my last biggest questions, what is a skeleton cab?
I'm glad you asked, because a skeleton cab is going to be more of a framed cab. If you think of a picture frame, where they utilize the actual wood panels as part as your wall. A lot of times these can only be identified by a mechanic to be able to pop the door and look over the side. But I can assure you it is worth it during your field verification to confirm it is not a skeleton cab, or it is.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a box frame or a skeleton of a box, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah, very well.
So why is it so important to know that?
Well, because it can affect your installation very much. If we know that up front, we can make some adjustments and even suggest to your client a horizontal system that will fill those voids as the original stock panels did. But you definitely want to look, because the last thing you want is your technicians demoing a cab and realizing there's a skeleton cab.
That is not a happy surprise.
That is not.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I feel like I am learning a ton of stuff here. It's just sitting in FabACab's mock cab with Bobby Haskett. But sadly, our quick tip has to come to an end. So before we sign off with our audience, is there any last quick tips you want to throw out there for the audience to nibble on?
If you don't mind, Z, I've got 3 really, really important ones that I'd like to share. And this goes out to not only the new reps, but it also goes out to some of our veterans out there.
Hit me with it, Bobby.
Number 1, first and foremost, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Please, 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 if you feel like there is anything funky, like we spoke about, take a couple pictures and take some accurate measurements. Pictures and measurements will help us make sure that we're helping protect you to make sure that that job goes well.
I love it. Number 2.
Number 2 is saving yourself some time. We all know how busy the reps are in the field. So if you go out to a job and you think you even have a small chance of getting the job, go ahead and bring your surveys with you. Take the measurements while you're there. Make sure and take very accurate measurements as well, because there's a good chance if you take the extra 5 minutes while you're there, you won't have to go back out until your superintendent or whoever field verifies your approval drawings. Again, I can't express enough accurate measurements. For instance, we're not measuring from the floor to the ceiling, we're measuring to the floor to
canopy.
Very good, Z.
Awesome, I love it. Saving time, simplifying the process. Number 3.
Number 3, and the final one, is this. Lean on your FabACab rep. There is never a dumb question. Pick up the phone, call us. If you see something in the cab that's weird to you, we want to make sure the job is very successful for you, so you'll come back in the future. Call us, video conference us in. There are many things you can do. Make sure that you're asking the questions if you don't know. We want to make sure that this job goes as smooth as silk for you and your customer.
That is fantastic. I don't really think that there are many companies out there that are really wanting to take the time to be a true resource for their clients. So I think it's fantastic that you guys are doing that.
We're here to help, Z, and we look forward to speaking with all of our reps and building lifelong relationships.
That's so good. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, Bobby, and giving us some quick tips, because I feel like I am so much more prepared to go out and survey a cab.
Perfect, Z. I appreciate you having me. And don't forget, if you're measuring, you're not measuring to what?
The drop ceiling.
You're measuring to the
canopy.
We'll see y'all.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of FabACab's Ask Z, and I hope this has been a really helpful quick tip for new reps in the field, but also those who have had experience and just looking for a little bit of a brush up. I hope you join us next time and subscribe so you can check out another quick tip with Ask Z. Bye!
We'll see ya.